All right, y'all. So, as you can see, we're doing something creative today. Can you believe it? Can y'all believe that we are like in a different era? So, here's the thing though. Here's the thing. I can only like I would have to like tap in to see the comments. This is my first time actually using the screen share option on Substack, which I'm very excited about. Um, this is a first. So far so good. But like I said, I would actually have to tab over in order to see the comments. So I would have to, kind of switcheroo on my end. I don't think I don't think you would see that part. But, this is so cool, and it's very easy to use, very user friendly. So, shout out to Substack team for doing this because people like myself that love to teach, that love to share slides and all of that, like, this is, low key, high key, a dream come true. So, um this is gonna be awesome. So this is my first time, so if there's glitches or anything like that, oh, wow, okay, so Courtney, thank you for sending me that. She sent me a screenshot of what it looks like for y'all, and my picture is showing up at the bottom if you're watching this on a cellular device. So, that's kinda cool, but and of course, I'm using my PC or my laptop to deliver this to y'all. So this is going to be fun. This is gonna be fun. But like I said, this is all about trial and error. We are learning as we go, and hopefully this empowers y'all to to do it yourself for your people on Substack. So again, obviously, like I said, this is a way for us to oh, she said we see your notes. That's fine. I don't care. I really don't care about that. It's fine. Because I'm gonna expound. You know how I do. I expound. So and plus I'm not even gonna be paying attention to that. Um, but like I said, this is trial and error. Um, so let's see what happens. So thank you, Courtney, for sending that. All right, y'all. So the first thing I want to do is kind of go off of an article I wrote not too long ago where we talked about the dream coach to avoidant client pipeline. And I wrote this article a while back because I really wanted to discuss high achieving women, right? And a lot of us are still having issues with like skilling up. And especially with the age of AI, like I get it, I get it, I get it, and I know that this is one of the things that a lot of women have issues with is like asking for help. I promise you, I used to be the same way. I used to have the same issues, but I wanted to kind of get into this because, from a not just from a writing standpoint, but for help on how we can explore the reasons why a lot of us are still having issues with showing up for ourselves, and some of the psychological, um, mental things that come up because we think they're blocks, and it's really just it can be blocks. Some people say it's not blocks. It's really fear of feedback, fear of the perception, right? It could be any of those things. But I'm gonna tell you this that even now, it is so easy to hide. It is so easy to just kind of step back, step back. I don't want to seem like, or I'm just nervous about what if people think this way? What if people think that way? You can literally have the life that you want. We just have to lean in and we have to be okay with learning new things about ourselves. So, the psychology of ghosting behavior, and ghosting behavior can be anything from um, not showing up on calls or avoiding accountability or avoiding reporting about, which is still accountability, right? Um, Paying a coach and I never see you again. Or even just showing up online saying you're going to go all in, you're going to do this, and then you don't have the results that you want like in the next 30 days or the next 45 days or the next 60 days. And then you're like, what happened? What happened? And I get all kinds of, well, coach, this is what happened. Or coach, I was, focusing on this, or I was afraid of this, or things like that. It comes up, right? So today or tonight, we're going to really just focus in on getting out of those blocks and really moving into who we are now. That's really what it's going to take for us to really get into the nuts and bolts of what we are here to do. Okay. Now, the first thing is first is that I talked about the proximity paradox, talking about the responsibility versus proximity. People, and we know this to be true. People love how it feels to be in spaces, right? To be in spaces, to be a part of something, to be, in the communities, right? You're with other like minded women, all these other things, but it's going to call for work, right? And you're in the vicinity, you're in the proximity. The work demands, though, consistency. The work demands you adhering to a framework, right? And so when we give someone money for us to learn, for us to build skills, for us to move forward, it's going to take you what? Trusting, not only necessarily trusting that person per se, because starts with that. Trust starts with following someone. And when you follow someone, you're following them because you either like what they say, like what they hear, you like what they're talking about, you like the subject, and maybe it resonates with you. But then also too, you trust their insight and their expertise compared to other people in the same field, and you like how they explain things and the perception of the problem that you have. So when you get into these spaces with them, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, like, I really wanna be a part of what she has going on." You're paying this person to be in proximity, right? And that's when trust really starts to activate. Now, when you pay someone, it it should activate, and sometimes it doesn't, many times it doesn't, but it's supposed to activate this, like, "I'm ready. I'm ready to make it happen." But many times it does not. It's like a fear, like, "Okay, now what?" And this is a pattern that I see amongst women in spaces where they're looking to become leaders. They're looking to become pillars in their community. And it's easy to hide with other women who are also pillars. That's why I said sometimes, like, women, when they are not emotionally, developed in a lot of ways, like, they can't speak up, they can speak their mind, they can be, they come in, they loud and, "Hey, look at me," but when it comes down to expertise and intelligence and actually exhibiting that and displaying that, a lot of women have issues because they don't want to, be seen as someone who is an imposter or someone who is like that wasn't correct or that wasn't right because we don't want to be told that we're wrong, right? Especially when you have went to school, you've gotten certificates or certifications, you have studied under people, you have gotten results for other people. You don't want to be told that you're wrong. You don't want to be told like, that wasn't right. That's not correct. Or I don't think that that's what I was trying to say. You don't want to be told that. So you rather stay quiet. You would rather avoid speaking up, right? Or avoid, being told something and or being asked something and you don't have it because of whatever reason. And this is kind of sometimes where avoidance comes in and admiration can turn into avoidance when that person that you admire so much start asking more of you. Let me know if I'm in the pew. Like let me know if I'm on your pew. Let me know if I'm in your on your lane. And some of y'all are gonna have the same issues with people you start to work with. If you have clients Come on, somebody. If you have clients or you starting to have clients and you notice that they don't show up the way they said they wanted to show up, or I'm really serious about it this time, coach. I'm really serious about this time. And they don't show up. And it's like, it's so frustrating because you can see the potential, right? Potential does not mean anything until people want it. They have to want it more than almost like they want air. So what does this have to do with anything? Jay, it has a lot to do with even these times right now that we're in because I'm seeing the content is getting much more generalized. I'm seeing many more women getting just kind of, I'm just gonna say anything. I'm just gonna talk about stuff the same thing. But like relationships. I get it. I understand relationships. I told y'all that sometimes we gotta get deeper on some of these things. If you're seeing it's like, what is I gonna say? It's more like, are you digging deep on some of the concepts that you are creating content about? Are you digging into the concepts? Are you, like, becoming a practitioner? You know what I mean? But the insight is, too, many desire proximity to success, but underestimate the responsibility of taking massive, audacious action. We want proximity more than we want the progress. Amen, somebody. Hey, Ariel. If you're watching live, comment live. If you're watching the replay, comment replay. This is going to be like a part two to that article because I feel so strong about it. And plus, I want to try this screen share thing. And I said, this is the perfect subject to be talking because I'm launch a VIP day. And this is obviously it's going to be in the wheelhouse of spending 5 hours with me going over your messaging, going over your offers, going over um, your systems and everything, and let's see how we can use and infuse AI. It's because I want us to graduate from some of these like generalized concepts, not just using AI to make pictures, right? Or using AI just to make copy, but we need to start really using it for analytical and strategic work, especially for our clients. I just actually just posted I just posted a video on TikTok um, where I talked about how AI agents are possibly going to become our clients. Don't you know that 13,000 AI agents were granted cryptocurrency yesterday with through Coinbase and some other platform? These AI agents do not have to have human input. This is how fast things are going. This is why I say you have to get out of the elementary things and start adapting and adopting like high level information research and start really getting to the nuts and bolts of this work, this expertise that you say you're doing. People want depth. This is, and I'm not saying that you have to go scholarly and that you have to go and do a dissertation. I'm not saying that. But there should be some depth to what you're saying because most people are not following, they're not moving upward mentally. They're just not. High achievers, the ones that are doing the work, I need you to become high performers. I know y'all don't like that word, performatives. I don't want to be performative. I don't want to be. You're not performing for anybody. You are, but you're not. Yes, you're going to have to work. I mean, when I get online, I'm not a coach. This wig coming off, these glasses coming off, this makeup coming off. I mean, it's showing up for work. The same thing when you're on the job, except for this is entrepreneurship, and there's some level. There's a layer of authenticity that I get to honor for myself. I don't have to code switch per se, right? But I do have to show up and there is a posture and a positioning that I have to have in order to show myself approved, right? So high achievers vanish because silence is self-regulating. So avoidance is a tool that we use to manage our shame for something without admitting to being off track. That's a word right there. That's a word. Why do we vanish? Why do we go silent? Everybody quiet. Why do we do that? And then the ego trap goes to the next thing. When the ego grows larger than our destiny, potential assets become liabilities. Look at the world right now. It's ran by the ego. Like I hate to say this, but Imma say this anyway, and I love men, but men, right now, they are running this world down to the ground because of their ego. They are in a race to extinction. They are okay with erasing humankind because they are trying to win against God and exterminating themselves in the meantime. Ain't that crazy? Like, your ego that big. Your ego is that big. Not to make the world better, not to make the world a better place, right? But to, literally turn us into ghosts. You know, it's just crazy. But there, I do believe that there is benevolence here, where spirit is not going to let that happen per se. I mean, there been groups over time that have been exterminated because of prisoners of war and all that kind of stuff. Yes, okay, but there are also people every single age in so many ways have been able to wake up, have been able to wake up to the truth of what all of this is, and that's the whole point. Is that to wake up to the truth and be able to educate each other on that, and then calling people up because intelligence is a spiritual attribute. You don't have to have degrees and certifications to be intelligent. You need to be able to have foresight. You need to be able to read. You need to be able to comprehend what times we're in and how you can help people through this transition. Because this is another age we're in. The dollar is on shaky foundation right now. I mean, it just is. You know why? Because too many of us got very smart. Too many of us got very academically enriched. Too many of us began to make a whole lot of money and the wealth gap started to close. Up. The hello. So now it had a lot of people rethinking who they are because even with a degree, you can still be labeled as someone on the downside. So now people that are intelligent, quote unquote, are we intelligent or are we just academically proficient? Are we academically competent? Because a degree don't mean nothing but that you can finish something. A certification don't mean nothing. It just means that you know how to finish something. A license means that you can study and take a test and you are competent in the basic knowledge of things. But now we're in a situation where all that is being tested. So all those degrees and all those certifications that a lot of us went and got, now you got to prove that you know how to go outside the box. Even people that don't have degrees, you are just as much able to surpass your peers, and we see it every day. Look at who run the world right now. Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, all of them, they don't have degrees. They dropouts. They just had proximity. They were high performers, and they were thieves. I mean, we could throw that in there too. They utilize power and proximity. I mean, we can go all day on that. But I'm gonna tell you this: kind people should get rich too, because a lot of y'all are very kind and you're very sweet and you're very patient. But you're also timid. You battle introversion. I struggle with this, I struggle with that, coach, and I really don't want to. No, but baby, you got to come up. You healed. It's time to get up because you got an ego issue too. You want to be seen as the nice girl and the nice. I want to be seen as the fun girl and everybody love and everybody, just come to and want to get a kiki. But we need you out here. We need you over here. The exposure effect. Let's go there. The high achievers don't leave because of mistreatment. They leave because they feel exposed. I wrote about that too. And kind of dug into the psychology today. I'm telling you, if you have not been reading my articles and essays, you miss an hour because they are good. They are really good. And it's really going to help you with seeing the light within yourself so that you can rise up. I always tell people I write better than I talk, in my opinion. And it's a long read. I mean, they're all long reads. But this is really where the getting gets good because you need to calm the mind down to take in information and the retention of knowledge. I know that the videos are great, but it really does help when you can calm the body down and look at words and process information because it wakens up the imagination too. And you can see yourself in the quantum. So now this is what I've had issues with for a very long time. The dream coach projection. Okay. Let me see. So Vaughn said, in a race to be the god or become extinct in the process. I'm telling you, it's really interesting. It really is. Um, the dream coach projection. So calling someone a dream coach is often a projection. Now, and a lot of y'all have probably had this issue too, or had this thing where people look at you and they're like, man, I can't wait to work with her. I have done it too to mentors. And I remember even before, this was back in 2019, 2020. um, I would always say, um, it was this coach I always wanted to work with, and I used to listen to her podcast and everything, and I was like, "Man, I'm can't wait to get ready to work with her." And then went through this whole, thing where I was like, "I gotta get this, like, I have to get this," and it was like, if I could just know how to just do this, I can get this, you know? And so all of a sudden, I saw this ad come down my timeline on Instagram. I'll never forget it, and it was a course, and me being me, I was like, I'm not gonna take no course. Like, this is crazy. But it was like an answer. It was a direct answer to a question that I have for spirit. I was like, I need the answer to how to do this. And when I tell you the answer, the verbiage on the ad was exactly it was positioned in way of the answer to me. And so I took it as a sign because that's how desperate. Because sometimes desperation does come before inspiration. It really does. And so I ended up paying, I think it was like $37 for this course. And the $37 turned into $4,000. Like in that month, I was that desperate to make money. And when I tell you everything that course taught, I did it. And I was like, I can do this. So I began to follow that particular coach. And that coach became my business coach. And it took me to the next level in my business. What am I saying? That the dream coach that I wanted to work with before her, I ended up investing in her program after I graduated from the coach that I ended up hiring first. And I got in there and it was like, I already know all this stuff. I already know I already know everything. Now it was some things that I refined, but it was like I know everything in here. And it was kind of basic. But I said, okay, I'm in here. I need to figure out, and a lot of people did that. Like they'll get into programs and they'll be like, I already know this stuff. And I started to say, okay, what can I use since I'm in this program and it's like 1 year long? What can I do to really just like make sure I'm rooting myself in this experience? And then it came up to me like, you need to, leverage the network. You would need to try her framework. Like you may know this stuff, but try her framework and see if you can, make it happen. And I promise you, it did. When I kind of got over my ego was like, I already know this stuff. Like, I was just like, why did I invest in this? It was $15,000. Like, this is me. And when I got on my, I was like, but I mean, obviously I can't leave for a year. So, I mean, I got to get it in. And when I tell you, the ego had to come down. And it was some things that I learned that I did not learn from that first program that I began to catch up on. And I was like, oh, okay, this is what it is. Okay. And when I tell you, I made even more money that year. So the projection that I had in my mind, in my ego, I got over myself and I started to embrace a community. Now, with her, the coach, she's still great to this day. I think she kind of took a step back. She got married and all this kind of stuff, which is cool. But what I'm saying is, it was a projection in my opinion. And then I almost got in there and did not commit because I thought I knew too much. But I said, I have to start looking at what I want to do, what I want to pursue, and look at the framework. Look at the framework. What can I learn here that I probably didn't learn in the last program that is going to help me to take it up with the next notch? And then I started to think about networks. I started to think about connections, and there was a couple of people in there that I had really, really became friends with, and the industry just started to introduce me to other people, and then some of those people became my clients. So it was very, very interesting. But when we start looking at the dream coach and people that we dream of working with, it's not about the dream. It's about the demands of working with that person. Because I'm good on the outside until you get in my containers and it's like, oh, I gotta work. Oh, I gotta work for real. It ain't just Coach J telling us like we need to get it together and da da da. No, she's got us work to do. She's telling us A, B, C, and D, and let's write an article. Let's write this. Let's come back with this. Let's come back with some homework. And then all of a sudden I got to battle with, oh gosh, she's telling us to do homework. I wasn't ready for that. I just wanted to be told that I need to get it together. No, because this is when the work comes in. When growth, like I said, when growth stops feeling aspirational and starts feeling like it's a demand on me, the nervous system instantly is going to look for somewhere to go because I don't know if I have time for that. I got stuff to do. I have kids. I have a job. I have to go here, go there. I thought we were just going to be told, like, we just need to get together. And she was just going to tell us. But see, this is where it comes in. Because even if I get you in my container, and let's say that's all we do is I just tell you what you need to focus on and what you need to heal. You're going to get to that end of the program and be like, dang, I ain't learned nothing. Okay, so which one, because do you want to learn and grow? Because learning means to implement what you've been told. Learning doesn't mean knowledge. Learning is application. Savon, Savon said she ain't lying. You got to work. The definite, yeah, we have homework. And when I start issuing that homework, I'm like, oh, so did we do it? So how did it go? Let's talk about it. Everybody go everybody leave. Oh, I was just coming. I ain't gonna lie, I ain't do. Oh, so what happened? Because it's a demand now. You actually have to get results this time because there has to be a progression. Because what you look, that's why I tell people what you're not gonna do in this program is say that, oh, I ain't getting no results. No, no, you were given the tools. What happened? Amen, somebody. Coach means to help you with performance. That's what a coach is. You need to write that down. A coach is someone who improves or helps you improve performance problems. So if you're low performing in your work, low performing in your business, low performing in your company, in your role, what is a coach supposed to do? Help you with improving. That's what a coach is. It's the same thing. What do you think a coach does when they're coaching NFL teams? They have to have a record of success. Drills, practice, showing up, working with one another, working as a team, working with their teammates, delegating to other coaches and teams and strategies, studying plays, studying the other team that they're getting ready to play against in the coming weeks. So it's all good. Oh, I really want to work up under that coach. I really want to work up under the Dallas Cowboys. I really want to work up under, the New England Patriots. So I really want to work with Seahawks. And then it's time to do the drills. And all of a sudden you throwing up and saying, I don't want to do this anymore. You know why you don't want to do it anymore? Because that coach requires effort to be the best. It comes with progression. Let's talk about our issues and how we approach AI. Okay. Women adopt generative AI at a very significant lower rate than men. This is where we're at. And I get it. Everybody's talking about water. Everybody's talking about, and it gets on my nerves so bad. And I'm like, will y'all please stop talking about water? Will you please stop talking about it? Oh, the World Economic Forum already said that we're gonna run out of water. They let it. What's your point? They know that. They've been knowing that. They've been knowing this since AI even got implemented. They know that water was gonna be a shortage because they want it that way. Everything is engineering. Did you not know that? So before you agree and like somebody else's post about water, I want you to think about this conversation. This has already been in motion. They need to guilt the adult. They need to, what is it called? Guilt the human and think it's their fault so they can turn on one another and not turn on them. Did you know that's how they Map that out. So while we're sitting here doing AI, eating meat actually wasted more water than using AI. Data centers are definitely not new. In fact, let me help you with this. They're getting ready to put data centers in space. So you don't have to so you won't blame them for the water. China's already doing it. Japan's already doing it. X AI, they're getting ready to put data centers in space because of cooling, because it's cold in space. They're going to put it in forms of satellites. Starlink is it's going to be like Starlink. So these computers are going up in space, or they're putting them near larger bodies of water. Like China is putting them along the coast. But what I'm trying to tell you is they've already started the process of doing it. It's not water. Data centers have always been a part of technology. The narrative and the propaganda has now, let's let them turn on each other and get mad at one another. Excuse me, get mad at one another rather than getting mad at the powers that be because they planned this already. Water is already a luxury. You're already paying for it. Anyway, let's go. Let's keep going. The barrier, a psycho emotional hesitation, not a lack of capability. The conflict, choosing to manage life rather than change it. We have to stop looking for management of life and stress and problems and start looking to change our problems into solutions. We are our own solution. We are our own answer. We're our own answer. Did y'all know that? The answer is in you. You're a big girl. Put your big girl panties on. You have the answer within you. The data shows that women perceive AI as riskier due to identity threats. You're scared to become something different. You're scared that you're going to be deleted as a human. Imagine being in a world. Imagine being in a world where you're tired of working, where you have told everybody, I'm just so tired of working. What are they going to do about this? I just don't want to do anything. I don't want to, like, I just want to. Now they're giving you a way out. In fact, can I help you with something? If it makes you feel any better, it like I told y'all, it has nothing to do with the cost. It has nothing to do with, oh, it's the humans, they're replacing with AI. In fact, did you know that it costs more to run AI agents in these companies than it does a human? Did you know that? They're losing more money running AI agents than they are humans. Did you know that? Because you complain too much. Humans humans just complain. But women, this is a time for you to get an ROI. The creatives are making more money from AI than the tech bros. The tech bros are losing thousands of dollars a day just to see how AI agents work in their own business. They're losing more money than people like yourself that can literally be creating courses, soft skills development. I literally have a monetization course on my Sandstore right now that's getting people monetized within a week. A week. The Substack writing intensive. One of the clients, I don't think she's on here tonight. She told me what was it, last night, day before last? She had 4 people to convert over into her high ticket membership from Substack, from her writing. She was like, "Coach, they're coming. They are coming." So they're subscribing and going to her and paying for her membership. She's like, "I got 4." So it's happening. And she's in the mom game. Like, she's not even in tech. She's not doing sales. She's working with, like, moms. That's why I love working with people who are non-marketers and non-business and non-strategists, because I like to prove to people that even doing non-business, I can still help women. And I ain't gotta know nothing about your business. I ain't gotta know nothing about how you work. Like, I just need the core. You just tell me how you get, what your people do and the messaging around it. I got it from there. You just tell me how you help them. And we get very, very centralized on that, and we can take it from there. You're actually in a better place than these tech roles are, but, I don't know what I gotta tell you to make you believe that. So we're going to the next thing. Attachment styles and growth. Now, this is really gonna be key. This is really gonna be key. So, avoidant and disorganized attachment styles are disproportionately represented in coaching spaces. This is okay. This is just think about this as you guide your people. These individuals crave guidance but run when internal dependence is felt. So, blocking and avoidance become tools to regain internal consistency without changing behavior. So, what that basically means is that you become much more, you want to run away and be consistent in who you were, and wanting to also do all the other things. When that's going to take change, you have to change the way you communicate your boundaries. You have to change the way that you work. You have to change the way that you show up for yourself. You've got to change a lot of things, even the external. When you have conversations with your family, you have conversations with your friends, you have conversations with yourself, and you have to say, I cannot do these things anymore. After I have to think about these things. I have to, because it's the only way I'm going to get out of this and move forward. I asked one of my clients recently in a group that we had, and she said, "Coach, I'm struggling to say this and say this, and write about this." And I said, "Well, who has your throat? Who got their hand on your throat?" And I remember it was somebody on TikTok that had that same kind of content where she talked about your mom has your voice, it has your throat chakra. And I thought it was very, very good. But it just came up because sometimes people have your voice. They have your voice in their box. And she said it was her ex. And so I said to her, I said, this is where it got to come in. You got to either not care, or you have to wait a minute and heal from that and just build your audience, and then not say too much where it rattle the fence until you get from up under that energy. Because if you're worried about that, you're not going to get far. You have to either know what you're doing and say, you know what, let me just go full steam ahead. And if she, or whoever comes for me, I'll be ready. Or I'm gonna have to just kind of lay low and do what I can, but I'm in full acknowledgement of what I have to do in before I get from, until I get from up under this other thumb, right? And that took awareness. But you cannot carry on the same way that you have before and think you're about to get a new life too. In order to have the new life you want, you have to change some things. So we have to think about those pieces too when we are, um, trying to progress. We have to do that. The cost of hiding is high. Okay, cognitive dissonance, obviously we see that a lot. To preserve self-image, the mind frames, the relationship, with the mentor. Um, we want to stay in that mentor's light in so many ways, but sometimes it takes people, like, some people get so ashamed they just run away. They're like, I'm telling you, it has been disappointing to see over the years, like, people I was, that were in my world, and then after I worked with them, or if they came into my containers and they did not get the results that they wanted, a lot of them ran away. Um, and it wasn't me, it was them not being able to show up, and I get so disappointed because I'm like, "Wow, like, you really felt that bad that you just," and then I had to think about it for myself because there was a coach that I had hired, not t it was like 2024, I think, and I loved her program, but I had what is this, 2026? So it had to be early 2024, and I remember, like, it was a program that was so good, and I just did not go all the way, and like I said, we had so much going on. Now, when that happens in my case, especially when you have a good program and people getting results, if I paid and everything, like, I paid her off and everything, and it was another coach, she was, making, and even to this day, I still follow her on Instagram. I don't go on Instagram as much, but I love her, period. She's so sweet, and, after I finished her program, I was like, I was just so disappointed, and I kinda, did what everybody else did, kinda, leaned back and kinda went and did my own thing, and I would always see her coming, I'm like, "Man, I need to go back." I was like, "I need to go back. I just need one more time. I just need one more time." And I'm so glad I went back. She had like a little container that was like 3 months, and I hopped in. I just hopped in. I was like, I'm in." And she was so happy to see my name because she loved me in the last I'm always my mentor's favorite. And, and the results were great. Like, results were great. And I checked in with her not too long ago, probably about 2 months ago, and she was so happy to see. She was like, "Oh my gosh," like, she said, "I was just thinking about you, like, last month, like, where's Jay doing? And how's Jay?" She said, "I don't see you on Instagram that much." I said, "I'm on Substack now," and I showed her to it. She was like, "Oh my god, I gotta get on Substack." But she's like a million, she's like a multimillionaire. But it was so good to see her and hear from her. But what I'm saying is that we have to stop thinking that we're a nuisance or like we're this person, we're that person. You have to grow in accordance to the level of where you're trying to be. And and to link up with other people that do not get results. And it's easy to do that with the gossip crowd. And I remember years ago there used to be times where I'd be in programs and women would caddy, they were caddy, and the sub posting, the gossip, the distancing are ways to avoid the pain of not doing the work and slandering. And especially when, you would get results and you still slander the coach. And I just think that was so interesting to me that people would slander the person that actually helped them get results. Until it happened to me. I used to be like, that's weird. That is so weird to me. And of course, I had to remove my personal feelings out of the way and just understand that this was not uncommon. It's hurtful. It can be very hurtful, especially when you care about your work and you care about your clients, especially when you go all the way and you do things for free. And this has happened not too many times, but it has happened maybe 3 or 4 times. And I used to get very, very down, especially the first time it happened to me. I got very down about it. And this was probably like 2022. And the first time it happened to me, I was very down about it. But then I said to myself, I was like, you know what? This is when the work gets working because I can't expect every client to be happy and getting results. There are going to be clients that are not going to get results, or there are going to be clients that get a lot of results and still going to be mad at you. And it's like, what? But it happens. It happens. The truth is that you cannot quantum leap while still defending limitations. And limitations doesn't always have to be money. It can be character. It can also be character. And some people don't change their character. They may change results on a financial level, but when it comes down to your level of posturing yourself as a leader, they don't have that. And that's where character development comes in with ongoing coaching. Because coaching, getting the money problem is easy. It's also after that we still need help with. And that's going to come with character development and showing up as a leader as well. So we have to keep that in mind. Um, Having a graduation, and this is, getting ready to close in so many ways. is getting what you need and elevating and moving on. That's a clean close. In graduation, I'm not talking about in a formal sense. I'm talking about it's a clean close where you are dismissed from a program because you fulfill the obligations of that program, right? And you did that as an adult. It was a healthy, clean close, right? Offboarding, as we call it. Vanishing is regulating shame, fear, or identity conflict through silence. Um, and that's why I always say, like, when you come into these programs, I just don't understand how, and this is me, how we come in and our cameras are off and we're hiding. And yeah, you could be doing something, but when you pay money to be in something, be there. Block that time off. That's what I told people when I'm in programs, baby, my camera's on. I'm not driving. Especially when I paid some money. I need to be able to be front and center. Where, Coach, I be having stuff going on. I be having stuff, but when are you going to understand that you are your greatest asset? I've been in some programs and some masterminds, baby, and everybody. And can I just be honest? I've been in some programs where my mentors did not look like me. And can I just tell you that everybody in that thing that did not look like me, their cameras was on, baby. Makeup on, cameras on. No matter where they were, car, cafe, they most time in their house, in their home office, on. But when I coach a lot of us like this, camera off. I'm asleep or I'm not. Why in the you know what time we meet? I'm not saying us all the time, but you block off the schedule, right? The shift is this: honor the framework, and not just the dream of being in the space. And I'm with the girls, and we're doing the things. It's we're here to do business. This is a business. I'm the CEO of the company. Are you kidding me? I'm being mentored. Embodiment is the skill. This is why a lot of us struggle with embodiment. You don't want to be. You want to embody. You want to be able to show up as the leader. Embodiment can't not be found in a quick training. It requires the work to quantum. And you can come and get all the messaging help. You can come and get all of the what is it called? The content help, the strategy, oh, I'm trying to glean off coaches post or this coach showed me how to, put this together and this ad together, but we're not embodying anything. In the room. Stay in the room when feedback feels activating. Stop defending your limitations. When you feel called out, sit with yourself before you get defensive and say, wait a minute, what does she see that I don't see? Because sometimes it's what that coach sees that you don't see. Sometimes it's good to sit still and consider what that person is saying before we respond. Because sometimes when we respond too fast, we're responding out of ego. And then we respond thinking that I'm an adult. I don't want nobody telling me what to do. But you're in a program where you're being called up and called out because you know you can do better. And I'm not going to make you happy every session. I told y'all before, I've had clients to hang up on me and I ain't care. You didn't want the 2020, 2021, 22 J, Coach J. I was, And maybe I need to go back because that's when I had millionaires. I was ruthless. Now they would call me back and say I get a long email. Coach, you was right. I sat with myself and I thought about what you said. I told y'all it was one of my clients was male and his fiance, used to be in the back and she was like, "Will you stop arguing with Coach? Stop arguing with her." I remember the time he said, "Well, I'm paying you." Da, da, da. I said, "You can get all your money back, baby." I said, "We're gonna do it like this because what you're not gonna do is tear down all the work we've done." I said, "You just mad because I'm calling you up." He was like, "I gotta go." I said, "Bye." Hung up. And then I got a long email. Coach, I'm gonna apologize. And he made $1 million that year. Went from going from I got it, you want me to lie? You think I'm lying? I got a whole YouTube video. That's what I'm saying. I ain't got a lot to kick it. I got a whole. In fact, I will post it. Oh, I'm used to crying. Courtney said she made me cry this past Monday, but she did make me face a scared cat to be at the side. Yeah, and homework. I said I need you to send me this. And I making women cry is a specialization of mine. I hate that some women done got so hard they don't cry no more, but I need to start making y'all cry again. I really do. I really do because I think that's when changes happen. My best friend used to always ask me, "Girl, did you make her cry?" Yep, she gonna be a millionaire this year. she She's like, "Did you make her cry?" "Girl, did you make him cry?" Yep, yep. She was crying. I don't know what the oh, she gonna do all right. She gonna be all right. She gonna win. She gonna be good. She gonna give it. And it was it was all about moving the emotion. And I'm telling you, I have been in containers where I'm crying like like that because what they was telling was the truth. This is all about revealing these things and bringing it up. Yes, Ravon. She said, wealthy minded people will face their nervous system for growth and expansion. It's hard to face the shadow. Ooh, come on. The shadow work. That's shadows. These are shadows that we don't want anybody to see. But it's wide open for those who have discernment. That's why I say coaching is a discernment, it's an intelligence, it's a spiritual gift, and everybody don't have it. Everybody look at the money and thinking like I'm finna make some money being a coach, baby. These folks making money until it's time to coach. Because you're gonna have to have some hard conversations and it ain't gonna always be nice. You're gonna have to say the hard thing. And a lot of y'all don't want to say the hard thing because you're afraid of offending. And a lot of times you're afraid of offending because you don't have yourself together as a leader. Come on, somebody. Last slide and we gotta go. I told y'all a long time ago, I said coaches for time that we are in, this time that we are in is going to require people with foresight and it's going to take people that can take folks forward. That's what coaching is. You're helping winners win. That means you already got to be winning. You can't be I think I want to win. That's just why coaching is so hard for a lot of people because coaching requires people who are already winning. This is why now, like the Substack Writing Intensive and all of that, these are educational programs. I'm testing people because when I open up the next container, which is going to require coaching, you got to be already performing. If you're not performing at this level, then you ain't going to be able to take me at the next one. These are all education and foundational fundamentals. So if you can't even show up for yourself, how can you show up at the next level? Laura said, I recently read people aren't afraid of the dark. They're afraid of what's in the room with them. Oof. It's very applicable to the shadow work. Absolutely. Absolutely. So stop defending your limitations. Okay. Stop defending your limitations. Transformation requires the capacity to tolerate becoming someone new. You have to expand. You have to tolerate the ugly to get to the next level. You just do. Speak up when resistance shows up in you. It happens. I'm feeling some resistance. I'm feeling some hesitation. I'm feeling a block here. Okay, let's talk about it. Connect learning to doing immediately. That means that if I tell you that you need to just go ahead and do this, the moment you tell me I got to sit with this, the moment you tell me, let me explore that, the moment you tell me, let me, I need to like really feel the feeling, I'm already know you ain't gonna do it. You know why? Because now that's an indication that you got to trust yourself to do what I tell you. And you just still don't trust yourself to even go forward because your comfort zone is losing. We have been programmed to do what is the least best for us. Even when it comes down to choosing partners and relationships, we have been programmed to go after less than our best. We've been programmed to go um to go lower in expectations, to just take what we can get. So now that we're moving into a new normal and now we're being challenged because I told y'all long time ago, and I'm closing, is that the time has come for us to use these minds that we were supposed to be healing these last 5 years. Now it's going to come with the requirement to actually show what we've been working on, to be present. So you need to think about what is it do I want out of this and how can I be sure that you have to create the certainty. Siobhan said the real devil shadows, but folks don't want to hear that. They want to blame an entity outside themselves. Absolutely, because we're children in the brain. We're children in the mind. It's much easier to blame externally instead of just saying, like, I need to get myself together. It's me. It's me. It's me. I have to get out of this. I have to fight with all my might to get out of this. So, anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed this 1 hour trial and lesson in training on getting ourselves together because not only does this pertain to you as someone's client in a container, but it also pertains to you as a leader in your own containers, right? So you're creating containers and programs and services to support your clients. These are all things that you need to be looking for. And I wish that people would have told me this. And that way you can be aware of what to look for and you'll know how to address it. You'll know how to address it. All right. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for being here and have a great night. But this is the bomb Substack. This is the bomb. Bye, y'all.